Let's build with these blocks today. Today we're building a log cabin suggested by Sandtaste on TikTok. I want to show that you don't need a ton of block variety to make a good looking build. We're going to be using this good old-fashioned spruce wood, everyone's favorite, using alternating variations with stairs and strip logs to create more depth even though these are all flat walls, creating that log cabin look with these wood beams stacked on top of each other. Expanding onto the rest of the house, this is just a big rectangle at its core with these huge spanning plain walls that are definitely going to be a challenge to detail up later. This is quite a big build because I was so drawn to the different roof shapes in a reference image, but I realized how hard this is actually going to be to make it look cozy while actually not going too crazy. But speaking of going crazy, we're using these jungle planks to make a huge front porch that spans not just the front of the house, but around the left side and the right side. Think of your grandma's house in the countryside where you can have a nice iced tea on the front porch on a nice summer day. That's the vibes. But now we're going in with deep slate for this roof, creating a little railing here with fences and fence gates, adding a bit of a pattern. This is a pattern I've been really enjoying recently, just slabs and trapdoors to make railings a lot more intricate and nice looking. Extending the front wall up here, keeping that same stair and strip spruce pattern. And now we're starting to finally add some windows. I'm using vertical strip logs here to frame up the windows, making them seem a lot more secure. There's really a lot you can do with just directional blocks, wood logs being a lot of them since they're such a common building block. So the next time you're running out of ideas, just try switching up the direction of your blocks. And now with this roof, this is way too tall. Come on guys, look at this. It's like towering over everything. Even though it gives it a more like Nordic type of Viking vibe, that's not really what I'm going for. I'm going for more of like a countryside, cozy log cabin. So we're going with a regular A-frame here, using some fence gates here to add some more supports for the roof. That's something I've been doing with a lot of my recent houses. Now back to the porch. I'm gonna wrap this up here all the way around with the same pattern and the same roof. For this house, I really wanted to stick with a certain theme and have those details come in at the end. I really withheld myself from detailing as I go and really wanted to finish the structure and get the scale and the shape right before I go crazy with adding any small details. So things like this roof peak that sticks out by an extra 2 blocks, giving the house a lot more depth because it's just a rectangle. That was a big part, but keeping all of these walls exactly the same, just stripped spruce stairs. So it's really just a shell of a house now, but having that structure there will help me a lot in the long run. Now I am adding a chimney, very classic medieval chimney design. For these bigger houses, I think 1x2 makes a lot more sense to have a bit of a thicker chimney. Using campfires for smoke at the top and trying something new I learned from my friend Blonde Skunk with the decorated pots there. Now we're working on the back porch, not to be confused with the big old front porch that takes up half the house. This one has no roof covering so that we can barbecue and chill outside in the backyard. The basic structure of the house is finally finished now with the addition of this back door. And now it's time to detail things up with some windows. Going up in our roof peaks, adding some smaller windows like so, and adjusting the log pattern here because we can't have stairs next to these taller windows. It has to be strip logs in order for it to connect. So we have bits that are thicker with like 2 logs like so, but I think that adds a lot more character to our house. I wanted to add some more depth with a trim here with trapdoors. This is another detail that I really like to do with more medieval houses, and honestly it works for a lot of styles. The spruce trapdoor and slab trim is just, it's unparalleled. Going into the first floor, we're doing something similar here, adding more windows and adjusting the pattern of the wall to suit it. Back to the back wall, we have a 2x2 window here, framed up by the vertical logs again. And I changed the porch a little more smooth. And the left wall first floor, we're going with a 1x2 window and then a 2x2 and then one last 1x2 window there, adding a bit of variety on each and every wall so that they're not the same. For further detailing, since these walls are so big and brown, I wanted to add some signs, but it didn't exactly turn out too well. It looked about the same. And then I thought, why don't I add some more color variation with these lecterns as handrails instead of fences? And I think it turned out quite well, giving it a pop of oak And then adding one huge window back at the back, big diamond shape. Finally, onto texturing. I'm so tired of staring at this cobbled deep slate. Makes the house look so one-toned. So just adding that bit of variation in the grays already gives it a lot more dimension. After this monster of the roof, I can finally get to actual detailing. Adding a nice armchair there, pile of firewood, some little potted plants. You can't forget the hanging plant, guys. You cannot. Little matching ones in the front, and then some messy bushes around the sides and the front of the house too. Adding a nice stone path leading up the front, giving it some curve. And finally, making that barbecue that I was talking about in the backyard. Some messy storage, some more plants. Filling up the porch a little bit more since there's so much empty space. Nice little wooden couch there and just a mess of different flowers. A nice flower bed for our huge window there. And that brings us to the end of day 10 of my 30-day building challenge. All my build schematics are available for download on my Patreon, link in bio. If you enjoyed, please make sure to leave it a like and comment what I should build next.